So I wanted to talk to you now about what we do and the meat and the bones, as it were. And what I thought I would do is I'll share some stuff with you, and then we'll split into like two groups, and then have a wee chat. We're going to eat at one. Is that all right? But I thought it's always a good idea not to stay in the same room, in the same chair, and all that sort of stuff. So half of us will go next door, and half of us will stay in here. And what I want you to do is kind of chew through this stuff together and add to it, or think about it, or just have a conversation about it. And as you do that, think about how you would apply it and how you would use it for yourself, for your own business. Okay. The biggest challenge of all with Think is the sustainability of work that you're doing. Whilst it's wonderful to do one piece here and a piece there and a piece there and a piece there, and inevitably you will begin like that, where you're wanting to get to it, I would suggest, is somewhere where you've got a few clients who give you regular work, because you have a better relationship with them, and you've also got that consistency of income. So with that in mind, what you don't want to do is be a one-trick pony and have just one thing. So what I'm going to show you is the infrastructure that we have for innovation management, which is, if you like, innovation on an enterprise scale is the terminology that you'll find out there in business. So that's what HP will be talking about. They're not talking about how can we get innovation in that team. They'll not be talking about how can we have innovation in sales or in product design. They'll be talking about how do we make Hewlett-Packard innovative in its DNA, in its culture, in its everything. And it begins, of course, by the analogy I always like is looking at the whole organisation, and like innovations like water that you pour in the top. And if you pour in the water in the top, where does it flow? Where does it go? And where does it block? And, where does it need to flow? So maybe it's not flowing at all over here. So what's happening is there a block here, and maybe the block could be a department, a budget, a manager, an individual, or the block might be just kind of that department's in a different physical space, so they're not actually picking up on the vibe of it. So it's very holistic. Okay, so there's the language that they use in their business, there's the internal communications, there's the induction, there's the recruitment, there's the whole, and some of your best friends are going to be your HR professionals, because they're the people that are looking at the whole thing. Have you got it all sorted?
It's done.
Hey, fantastic. This is Mark, if anybody's not met Mark. And you're going to snog everybody, just go around and give everybody a snog. We're just going to... Yeah, do. You need to grab a chair. So it's good that Mark and Vanessa are joining us for this, because they know this stuff, right? So with that in mind, obviously we, although I said to you we started off doing workshops and training, we've built it up. And more recently, I've just created a sort of a document which is about a pick and mix. And what we've created is an infrastructure that you can see, whether it's a charity or whatever it is, but you can see the organisation and how you do innovation. And then you can put in different things, events, happenings, whatever, in different places at different times. And this pick and mix shows you how to do it. So I'm just going to show you these documents, and then I'm going to let you kind of rummage through them by yourselves. But first of all, it talks about how it works. And basically what we're saying here is over the last 10 years we've been doing this, and we've built up a range of different tools and techniques. And then it works into different areas. So there's different workshops, and there's what we call it. Some of these need to be worked on, and what we're calling it, and what it is. And on the Think Well, the idea will be that this will be the infrastructure. You'll be able to click on one of these and get all the slides and all the techniques and all the notes on how to do these. Some of that we have, and some of it we're working on. This is more on workshops, a couple of pages on workshops. This is some stuff on consultancy. This is open innovation. I don't know if you're familiar with OI, but or crowdsourcing, that type of thing. So open innovation's a new area. And this is time to think, Because, we're saying that one of the strategic imperatives for companies is allowing their individuals at the offices time to think. So how do you do that? And so some of those there. And there's training. And I think there's a very different thing between a workshop and training. So training's you can workshop training, if you see what I mean. But there's training which is imparting of the knowledge. The workshop is we have the knowledge and we're working with the knowledge. Inspiration is stuff about seminars and public speaking. And I've also put how we charge as a simplistic model for my area of the UK that I'm doing right now in the recession. Okay, so which is just a different model from that I have been doing recently. So that pick and mix is, if you like, a bucket of tactics onto which you guys can add loads of stuff that you've all done in those different sectors, and there might even be a different sector. Okay, so that's one of those. One of those products is the Power of Three, and this is a PDF that just goes through what the Power of Three is. And the Power of Three is a fantastic product that we use, and it's a great way of getting in with companies. And in both of the teams, we'll have somebody who's worked on a Power of Three, so I won't go through that in detail now. But and then we have this little bit of a weighty kind of strategic thing, because it was done by a rather weighty strategic friend of mine, which talks about innovation as a matrix and the level of which you would put innovation. So are you going to do innovation in a big way or small way? Are you going to do it sort of heavy or light? And then it also talks about how we view innovation in cycles. So innovation management in a company is where you set the company a series of challenges. The challenges come from the business. So the business says, right, here are our 10 key challenges to growth, innovation, people, retention, whatever. And you put those challenges to the business in a structured manner, like once a quarter or once every 2 months. And you support those challenges in the business through training, workshops, internal comms, and all of the rest. That's the best way to do innovation. The worst way to do innovation is where the chief executive or the managing director goes to his organisation and goes, great, we're going to do innovation and we want loads of ideas. And people go, like, ideas for what? And they get ideas for the coffee machine and ideas for the uniform on reception and ideas for marketing. And so what you want to do is you want to focus people's thinking on specific tasks, because the more focused the question, the better the answers. Simply. So that goes through how strategic it works. So this, for example, shows that you open with a kick-off workshop, and then there's the ideas are submitted, and then you filter the ideas, and it just goes through how that all works. But underneath that, if that is your infrastructure, okay, then that is your kind of interior design, right? And then underneath both of those is like the fertilizer, which is like the psychology, which creates the foundations. And if you can do all three of those, like make sure the whole organisation's psychologically fit and healthy and ready. If you make sure that they've got the infrastructure for innovation right, so they've got momentum and strategy and it's planned. And then if you can input enough tactical, exciting things along the way, then you can actually deliver all of that, because you can deliver the consulting on how to do it, on how to do the foundations, on how to do the planning. And then you can actually do the consulting and the delivery of the tactical elements. Right? Mm-hmm. That's, to me, the big picture of how to do it. And ultimately, if you put to a client, here's, you want at least 2 or 3 workshops a year, you want 2 or 3 training events, you want some consulting, you want some one-to-ones, you want that's like $5,000 a month, every month for 12 months, and because you're going to give me that sustainable amount of work, I'll do it for you for X. If you pay me on a monthly basis, and some months we'll do more, some months we'll do less, but we're going to charge you X a month, $4,000 a month, say. That's fantastic, isn't it? Because then that's a baseline on your salary, and then you've got another client who pays you $1 a month. And then on top of that, you've got a couple of clients who give you a workshop here, there, and wherever. And that creates a baseline for your business. So I would recommend that to you, just as a sort of more stable way of working. The caveat to that, of course, is that if you're committed to delivering every month to a client, you have to deliver every month to the client. So, you know, if you want that more flexible lifestyle, then maybe you have to just watch that so that you can say to your client, I'm going to be away in August, or I'm not going to be here then, you know, and you manage their expectations. So does that make some sense? So I think if Mark works with one team and I'll work with another, and we can just answer any questions. But if you begin by just kind of having a look through this, and you might have questions about what resources we have and what we can give you and how to deliver some of this and that kind of thing. So there.